nobody has to really feel like they're alone when they are affected by incarceration. I'm Bev Livingston, Chief Advocate and founder of MIST. MIST is an advocacy support group for families that are affected by mass incarceration. I started MIST because of my own personal experience, having gone through 4 trials with my son's case and seeing how overwhelming it was for me and how difficult the system makes it for especially mothers to have any kind of control or be able to protect our sons and daughters was what really, I think, urged me to see what I could do to try to help others deal with it. MIST, just being the advocacy support group that we are, has helped people deal with the shame of having a loved one incarcerated, has helped people deal with needing to make those phone calls to try to find out how their loved one can be better treated or cared for or needs met, such as medication. MIST has helped others learn how to deal with the system as it relates to communicating with a prison, for example, to get medication for their loved one, to make sure that their needs are, being met as essential as getting medications and getting like the TDD phone for hard of hearing inmates to be able to communicate with their families, prosthetic limbs that have been lost in property rooms and things like that. We have helped families know how to navigate the system and get things done. Well, we had an advocate that used to be very engaged in helping the handicapped and disabled people get their needs met. And once she had to go down to the local county jail to help a gentleman who had been put back in a wheelchair because his prosthetic limb, his leg, could not be found in the property room. And so we advocated for this young man to be given his limb, his prosthetic limb, so that he could get out of that wheelchair. So those are the kinds of stories that makes me feel like MIST is something that is needed, is appreciated, and we must do what we need to do to help people be their very own best advocate. MIST is important because for every perpetrator and everyone that commits a crime, there's a family or loved ones who are left behind or who is doing time with them that need to have the support system that will help that person do their time with as little difficulty as possible. I mean, it's just hard surviving inside. So when you have someone on the outside that has the intelligence, has the information, has the advocacy support to know what's happening as it relates to prisoner rights and family rights and other things, that makes a difference in how well or how difficult doing that sentence might be. There's some recent legislation that passed, and this is state law, that passed as it relates to the percentage of time that a sentence must be served. And it went from serving 85% of time to 65%, but it excludes murder convictions and sex offenders. Now, what's to come from that, where we can maybe help get some legislation for first-time offenders, or something that will help those that are kind of left behind when we have opportunities to reduce time. We want to try to see if there's a legislator that can author something or sponsor some legislation that can pick up that population as well. There's other laws that had reforms that have passed, such as aging out people who are 65 and older that maybe are dealing with chronic illnesses and other things. They are now trying to find alternative ways of letting them come home, whether it's coming home on supervised probation or whether it's just freeing them because they've had good conduct and other things and they deserve to be released early. These things are now happening, and the governor of Missouri has signed that legislation into law. At the federal level, The Bureau of Prisons has the Smarter Sentencing Act that has recently been passed, as well as other things that will help prisoners at the federal level receive some relief, some reforms, and kind of, get the system where it's reducing the population of overcrowding and just giving people that opportunity and that second chance. Nobody has to really feel like they're alone when they are affected by incarceration. We have a very diverse group of people, all ages, husband, wives, mothers, fathers, loved ones, who just want to know, how do we deal with and get through this? And so we meet every second Saturday of the month as a big group, and during the month we help each other with phone calls and other kinds of support to make sure that people are being dealt with appropriately by the system, because we're treated like we're criminals sometimes when we're just going to visit. So we know that the system has no real sympathy for what we're going through, and we're a group, MIST is a family of advocates that do not have a pity party. We get together and empower each other and inspire each other and encourage each other to stand up to a system that is not always fair and that deserves to hear our voice. This is Bev Livingston inviting you to visit our website, misdkc.org, or like us on Facebook at Mothers of Incarcerated Sons and Daughters. Phone number 816-337-5876.
We'll come and ride home.